Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards-Ann.
January Liddell, aloha.
Today, our guest, I'm so excited to have her here. A really good friend of mine here in Casper, Wyoming. Her name is BJ Largent. BJ, please tell everybody who you are.
Hi, thank you so much, Helen and January. I really appreciate you asking me to be on your podcast. This is a big deal for me. I don't know. I live in Casper. I've been here about 30 years. My side business is Send Out Cards, which is a greeting card company where you can send cards and gifts from your computer. And I think what Helen wants to talk about is I just rode the Pony Express re-ride. And the Pony Express re-ride is, and they actually follow as much of the trail as they can from the original Pony Express that went from Missouri to California, and I just finished riding it.
Yes, one of the reasons I wanted to have BJ on, well, one of the many reasons I wanted to have BJ on was from the time I've met you, BJ, about almost 4 years we've known each other. And we were just drawn to each other when we first met. You're so authentic. You're so genuine. And this is actually a big deal. Normally, I don't really mention ages on here, but I admire you so much. And this is so huge. And I really want our audience to be inspired by you. But BJ, when I first met her, I thought she was in her 60s. And I was shocked, especially this year, to find out you're 80. And I'm just like, wait, what? You hashtag goals.
I am 80 years old. I'll be 81 in August.
I was equally as shocked when she told me your age. I thought, no way, because you and I are friends on Facebook. So I see you on Facebook, and I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, especially after she told me that you were 80 and that you rode the Pony Express at 80. I always thought you were 60. So everything about you like screams out 60. I'm like, she's 60. I can't believe it. So I'm still in denial that you're 80.
Thank you, January. I love that. I wish I were 60, but it is what it is. And it's been a long, happy road.
Well, I know that you're definitely one of my favorite people to hang out with. And because you are one of my favorite people to hang out with, there's so much deep conversations that we have. And I love learning about your life. But I want to kind of go back to last year because this was a huge goal, this Pony Express. Getting on a horse, having the strength in your core to do that. You prepared a year now, right?
Yes. I had back surgery a year ago. And I did tell my surgeon, I said, well, next year I'm going to ride the Pony Express. He said, well, I don't know if you'll ever ride again. And I said, you don't know me very well. Horses have been a part of my life my whole life. So I made up my mind. I found a very dear, who's now a dear friend of both of ours, Jackie, who has horses, and she was as excited to ride as I was. And then I went to the gym, started working out. I've lost a whole bunch of weight, and we set a goal for the two of us, and we rode twice a week, at least 2 miles for the last 8 weeks. So we worked really hard to get ourselves in shape and get our horses, what they call legged up, so that the horses could travel the 2 miles. And when we started, this is the fun part. When we started, we were only supposed to ride 2 miles, but then they gave us another 2 miles. So we had 2 legs of the trip to do, which was really fun.
Oh my goodness. So that was 4 miles instead of just 2.
It was. And then, but when we did the second leg, there was so much, it started raining. And the road was just grease, and there was a big hill, and we were only one of 2 horse trailers and trucks that got to the top of the hill. So everybody was out of position. Nobody knew who was riding next, who was supposed to ride next. So they said, when you get there, just ride. So we got all ready. I had on a raincoat, which didn't help at all. And it was pouring down rain. And I said to Jackie, how far are we going to ride? She said, oh, about 10 miles. Well, we didn't go 10 miles. We went about 2.5 miles. But it was an amazing group. Whoever was available was ready, take the mail and go. We didn't keep track. So it was phenomenal.
Now, I want to make sure I get this right, but the last time you rode a horse was how many years ago?
Well, I hadn't ridden for 7 years. Yeah.
So the other thing that I was very fascinated with was you said you had back surgery. And those of us that have gone to surgery feel a little bit debilitated and defeated, if we have something like that. But your mind frame was, no, I'm going to do this. You just went above and beyond what the doctor said to you. Where did you find that type of resiliency?
January, I have no idea. It's just something I've done all my life is try to set a goal and achieve a goal. And because I said I was going to do it, and I told too many people to back out, but it's a mind frame. I could have stayed in. I had a walker and I had the brace and the cane, the whole 9 yards. I could have stayed at that. And I was like, no, I got out of it as quickly as I could. They were amazed how fast I healed. I went to physical therapy. They were amazed how quickly went through the process there. And it's in your mind. 99.9% of what we do is in our mind. I'm a firm believer. You can do anything you set your mind to if you decide you're going to do it, and nothing was going to stop me. I mean, the rain, we had thunder and lightning, and on we went. You just make up your mind, and then it gives you that. I don't know what it is. You guys know more about this mindset stuff than I do, but all I know is you make up your mind and you just put your blinders on, like they say in horse world. Blinders on horses are so that they can't be distracted. Like in a racetrack, you'll see horses with blinders. Put your blinders on. Don't let anything distract you and just go forward.
Oh, I love that. Put your blinders on. That's a new, like, we should make a meme out of that. Put your blinders on. BJ, let's take you back because I want to know BJ and I want to know like how you started. So let's take you back 40 years ago. Let's even further. Let's say 60 years ago, right? You're in your 20s. So who
Okay.
is BJ Largent?
Oh, in my 20s, I went to, after I graduated high school, I went to Ohio State University, and I was there for 2 years, and I was not college material. I was there for my MRS, and I never did get my MRS. So I left, and one of the things I did was I went to instructor school to where I learned how to be an instructor for horsemanship and how to teach kids to ride. And at that school, I learned to play polo and all kinds of exciting things. So then I taught for about 5 years. And then I kind of got the itch to move, and I moved around a lot. I lived in Cleveland. I lived in Washington, D.C. I lived in Michigan for a while. I moved all over. And then I decided, meanwhile, I was married and divorced. Meanwhile, I decided I wanted to live in the West. So, go West, young man. So I thought all the young men were out West. So here I am out West. And I love Wyoming. I had fallen in love with Wyoming and decided to live here. So that's kind of what happened.
So it sounds like you are a gypsy. You were a gypsy, much like Helen. She was a gypsy and she would go to different places. And I guess I'm assuming that you were feeling it out and seeing which one would feel like home. Is that right?
Well, yes and no, January. When I got somewhere, I tried to make it home, like Washington, D.C. I met fabulous people. I went to all the tour things and I did everything I could. Then when I moved I lived in Montana for a while. and I got a real job in a real house in a real place, and I was doing like real people, like grown-ups do. So I tried to make every place my home. But once I got to Wyoming, I knew I was home. I knew I was home in the mountains, and yeah.
You know, BJ, and I just want to share this little fun fact about BJ that I know personally is she's so funny, so humorous. And we got to take it back to the cane. I want to like jump from your 20s to a year ago again. So we're part of the Wyoming Women's Network. It's a group of women who get together once a month and network our businesses. Well, BJ, after her back surgery, shows up with her cane. Now she just bypassed it, like, and I had a cane. No, this cane, it was extra. Okay, this cane she showed up extra. The cane had feathers and it was like it was sparkly. I was just like, ooh, BJ. It was awesome.
I got more compliments on that cane. Where did you get that cane? And I said, it's a $3 boa from Walmart. And it was feathers and silver. And it was everywhere I went, I left feathers. And it was so funny because one of my friends said she looked for days to find the bird. She said, well, I didn't know what kind of bird that was that left feathers. Next time I saw her, she said, oh, it had to be your cane. But, it was the same thing. I can have a cane and be, oh, poor old lady, she's got her cane. Or I have a cane and it is so cool. And everybody wants a cane like this. I mean, people told me I should start a business about this silly cane. I mean, for me, it was just making things lighter and taking away the pain and the agony and the hurt and all the crap that goes with surgery. I mean, it was a big deal. It was a big deal, surgery. And I thought, nope, gonna make it fun, gonna get through this one way or the other. So
I want to
it's
be
just
like you, BJ.
what?
I want to grow up and be like you.
Uh, Somebody told me that the other day. I want to be like you when I grow up. And I think it was you, Helen. I'm like, oh, what a compliment. But you guys have the same mindset that I do. You decide what you're going to do and you do it. Helen decided she wanted to do morning sauce. There it is, every day morning sauce. I mean, she's a non-stopper. I'm sure you are too, January. I don't know you that well, but I'm sure you're one of the non-stoppers. And maybe we should call ourselves the non-stoppers. That could be a new name for us.
We need a shirt for that. BJ, I love that you are so you stand out. So there's that saying, right? About standing out. Just don't be ordinary. You stand out and you stand out. As well, I don't know you as well, but from what I see on Facebook and just this short conversation, you are a cut above the rest, meaning that you follow your own path and you say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Like the Pony Express at 80 years old. Who does that? Nobody. I don't know an 80-year-old that does that and says, and I'm going to do it in the rain no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll tell you, you want to hear one of my other little adventures? You'll love this. The Wyoming Centennial Wagon Train. It was a wagon train that went from Casper to Cody. It was 60 days. Did you lose me? I lost you. There it is. It was 30 days. I went on the entire program. I was their PR person. I went on the entire wagon train, slept in a tent, rode horses for 30 days, went to Idaho and did the Idaho wagon train for another 30 days. And that was just in 1990. So I've always had that adventure of, give me a challenge.
I see where it came from. You have an adventurous spirit, and it seems like it started from a very young age. 20, I want to say, right, in your 20s, or did it start when you were a child?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I know my mother wanted me to go to one of those fancy girl colleges in the South where you meet those, yeah. And my dad and I said, nah, she's going to Ohio State. I mean, I made up my mind. I made up my mind. The first sales job I ever had, you were supposed to take 2 years of Spanish in high school. I took the first year. My first sales job was convincing my mother and father that I didn't have to take it the second year. And from that minute on, I made up my mind. I can do what I want to do.
And you absolutely do. I have a really funny story that I have to share because going back to when we first met, we just started at coffee shops with our other friend, Cindy. And then one day, me and BJ, we sat there after our coffee meetup with everybody and we decided, should we go and have a mimosa at a famous breakfast place here called Eggington's? And that day became day drinking. We rallied. I'm telling you, I rallied with BJ. I mean, I was trying to keep up. We didn't stop just there. And I remember after Eggington's, we both had a little buzz going on and we thought we'd walk it off. So we end up at a clothing store and bought the most hilarious shirt. And then we just were like, okay, let's go back to your house. Went back to her house, had some wine and or no, we went to a different bar, one of our neighborhood bars, and my husband Rob met us and picked us up, and he just says, "Oh my goodness, you two, what is happening here?" He says, "I leave you both alone for 1 minute," and we ended up going. He brought us back to BJ's house, and then he left, and then we decided to take a cab or an Uber over to another place, another restaurant. And that was one of the most fun nights, memorable nights I remember when we first met. And I just thought to myself, like, wow, I don't know who BJ is or what kind of life she lived, but we are on the same page. That was fun. And I remember Rob picked us up from the restaurant, like, how did you guys get here? It
Yeah,
was
we got,
great.
yeah. And I'm really fond of that Rob. He's one of my favorite people.
Aw.
Man, I wish I could join you. I'm all the way here in Hawaii. So if you're in Casper, get to know BJ. You need a BJ in your life. So give her a
Thank
call.
you. That is so nice, January. So nice. Thank
BJ,
you.
is BJ a initial for a different name or is it BJ?
My mother was Bonnie Jean, and I was named after my mother, but it was Big Bonnie, Little Bonnie, Old Bonnie, Young Bonnie. So it just turned into BJ. It made our lives easier. Yeah. So it's Bonnie Jean. Yeah. But I don't answer to it because that's my mother.
Well, fun
Yeah.
fact is your license plate on your car says BJ, and you actually don't you have a story about Jeffree Star?
Oh my goodness. Yes,
I
I
have
do.
to. It's so great.
Jeffree Star saw my car and said BJ. He took a picture of the license plate, put it on his Instagram, and it went viral. And then I met him, and he's fabulous, and he's the nicest guy in the world. But we laughed about it a lot.
Okay, so I'm Googling because I don't know who Jeffree Star is. Who is Jeffree Star?
He made his famous. He got famous by doing makeup and hair and that kind of thing. And he has moved to Casper, and he has a yak farm. He raises yak, and a lot of the restaurants and grocery stores carry his meat, his yak meat. So he's very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so it went viral. Is it still on his Instagram? Can we see it there?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Instagram. You could look. I don't know.
I think the reason it went viral and that he posted it up is because the dirty mindset of blowjob. So, but what I love about it is BJ found it hilarious and she sent him a send out card.
I sent him a card and brownies and thanked him.
You're
Yeah.
so amazing, BJ. I just love that you did that.
Yeah. I just kind of, I don't know where it came from. If I could put it in a bottle and sell it, I would.
I would buy it. I would buy it, BJ.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank
there's
you.
a couple things that we're gonna have to search for. We're gonna have to search for the cane for those of us that have not seen this cane. So now I'm going to search your Facebook for the cane. And then I'm gonna search for that viral video about the license plate. I think it's fabulous.
Yes.
I think it's fabulous. You are living the life, BJ, that I think so many of us are kind of either afraid to live it or timid or shy about it. And you're just like, I'm gonna live my life on my terms, on my accord. And you're 80, you're like living proof that you are living the life that you choose to live. You're not letting anybody else determine, how you're going to, I mean, the back surgery, the doctor said, no, you probably won't be able to do it. You're like, you basically gave him the bird and you're like, I'm not going to do that.
Watch
I'm
me. Watch me. Yeah. Well,
And she's in love. I just had to throw that out there.
well, I do have a special friend in my life. Yes. He's pretty
okay. How
special.
did you meet?
We met online on a dating site. I know, but we did. Yep.
That's modern. It's a modern way of meeting people. So what was it about your special friend that caught your attention?
Well, he has a huge handlebar mustache. It's white. And he had a picture, and of course, and his name is Buzz with one Z, B-U-Z. So when I saw his picture, I wrote to him and said, nice stash, nice name. That's all I said. And he responded, and we started talking and been together ever since. It's been about 6 months. Amazing.
It's
But it's
never
my
too late.
turn. It's my turn.
Absolutely. It is your turn, and it's never too late. You have showed me just from the past 4 years that I've known you that there's so many possibilities out there, that age has nothing to do with it. Like you said, it is a mindset. And I gotta say, me and Rob ran into BJ and Buzz at a restaurant recently, and they are so cute together, and Buzz is fabulous. But one specific thing really stood out over because we ended up sitting with them, and whew, let me tell you, they were rowdy and they were so cute. And there was a lot of little flirtiness going on between them that even Rob says, oh my goodness, oh my good, where he was blushing. It was so cute.
Okay, paint me the scene because I want to know what happened.
I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to let Helen tell you. We just flirt a lot.
They
There
they
was
flirt a lot. Yeah.
there was a little bit of alcohol involved, just a little. Yeah, yeah. But he lives in Colorado and I'm in Wyoming, so it's 250 miles we have to travel to see each other. So that makes it special too when we're together, because we're not together all the time. So,
Okay, so I think I heard you say that you were married and then divorced. And then were you married prior to your current special friend Buzz?
oh yeah, I've only been with Buzz 6 months.
So
Yeah.
tell me about because I think for some of us, right, some of our listeners, they're like, "Oh, will I ever find love again, after a divorce, or I'm so old, I'm not going to be able to find somebody." So what would you say to them?
I think you have to be authentic and you have to be real and you have to be able to read through the bullshit. Sorry for the language. You have to be able to read that other person. If the guy has sunglasses on, don't talk to him. If he has no shirt on, don't talk to him. I mean, there's just little things that you learn. And I I don't know, January. I don't know the answer. I just put it out there that I was looking for somebody special in my life, and good things happen when you just, you manifest things. I manifest parking spots all the time. I drive downtown, I need a parking spot. And now you might have to go around the block 2 or 3 times, but one will always appear. It just happens. It just works.
I love that you mentioned your little tips, because my sister just divorced after over 20 years. And right now she's on, online. She's just looking, just talking. And she made a joke to one of my other sisters, and she said, "I'm in my hoe era," because she's never had that before. But now I'm gonna tell her, hey, if they're not wearing a shirt, if they're wearing sunglasses, it's a no.
It's a no. Right off the bat, they're hiding something. Or if they're in the service and they're in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere, nah. There's a lot of scammers out there. I will admit, there's a lot of scammers. And sometimes my friend and I, sometimes we'll get the same guy talking. This is before Buzz. We get the same guy talking to us, and we just lead him on and lead him on and lead him on as much as we could. We planned one time. We planned a lunch. Both of us at the same time sent the same message to this guy. We'll have lunch. We gave him the name, the place, the date. We'll bring the sandwiches. You bring the wine. Two different gals said the same thing. Guess what? He just quit writing to either one of us. But we knew he was a scammer, so we played his game back. Oh, it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, you are so much fun. You just like to play. And I think that's one thing that a lot of us are missing is just playtime.
Yeah.
Playtime, just having fun and not taking life so seriously. And you do it so seamlessly, BJ.
Well, thank you, January. I don't know how I got that way. I just thank you. I appreciate you saying that because I again at this age, you get to a place where you don't care about a whole lot of stuff. Stuff doesn't matter. Right now I'm between jobs. Do I worry about it? No. Am I fretting? Am I going getting a look? No, I'm waiting because I know something will come along. I don't have time to worry. I don't have time to get upset and get mad at people. If I get mad at somebody, you're out of my life. You have to make time for yourself and make time for what's important to you and without hurting others. And gratitude is the first step. You have to be grateful for everything that you have and everything that you've done and everybody that's in your life. You guys are in my life for a reason. I learned from you, you learn from me, and that's gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's just my philosophy.
No, thank you. Thank you for being a shining light. I'm so honored to be surrounded like with your presence. And it's so funny. I was just gonna ask you, like, what are your, top 10 things that you'd like to say, like wisdoms, BJ wisdoms. What would you like to say? And you just said it. You're so amazing. I'm like, I think you read my mind.
I hope. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I've told Helen this before. The Pony Express ride was a huge, huge goal for me for many, many reasons. My back, getting the horse, starting to ride again. There's so much involved. But I kept telling people, now once that's over, I have to get a new goal. So I'm in the process of working on a new goal. I'm not sure what it is. I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. But believe me, I will have another goal and I will put my blinders on and away I'll go. We'll see what happens.
This is the reason why you look so young. You look so young because you have this amazing mindset and you're like, you finish one goal and you're like, nope, I'm on to the next. So you haven't like, what is the phrase? You haven't arrived yet.
No, I'm not done. I'm far from finished. I got a lot to do. I wish I had 80 more years to do it because there's a lot I could do, a lot more I would like to do. Yeah.
One of the things that me and January have talked about before on the show is the blue zone. And what that documentary is about is why people live longer. And a lot of it comes down to, I don't know if have you seen that show, BJ?
It's people in the Mediterranean.
Yep, that's a portion of it. And they
Yeah.
talk about the things that keep them young and keep them happy and keep them healthy as they age. And I'm telling you, you check off all of those and then some.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope
I
you
don't
get
know. I don't think they drink adult beverages, do they?
actually they do. They drink wine. That's a
Oh,
part. Yeah, that's a part of the Power of Nine. Dan Buettner was the photographer that created the Blue Zones project, and it's been decades that he's done this. And anyway, the documentary is called Live to 100. And there is this over 100-year-old man that is actually riding a horse. And thanks Helen for bringing that up because you remind me of that 100. I think it's like 102, 101. I forgot how old he was, but he was over 100. And he's still riding a horse and moving the cattle. I
Yep,
believe you can do that. You're going to be doing that and at your hundreds.
I hope so. Oh, I hope so, January. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, life is grand. I mean, if you just look around, just take a deep breath and look around and know how lucky we are. If I'm gone tomorrow, I've had a hell of a good life. You know, I've got great friends. I've done exciting, fun things, and I don't have any regrets. Try not to have any regrets. And I think that's the secret of it is just keep going, keep moving forward, and drink wine.
And you have purpose. I love what you said about I got to have a next goal. Are there any thoughts about your next goals?
Well, yeah. I wrote I wrote a kid's book years and years and years ago, and I'd kind of like to get it published. I don't know if it's my goal or not, but I think maybe that's the direction I'm going.
I love that because my book is about to be published next week. I have a children's book coming out. It's about financial literacy. And we are just finalizing. I just need one more page, and then the book is ready to be uploaded to Amazon. So it should be by next week. So do
How
it, BJ. Do it.
exciting! How exciting!
Yes. What is your book about?
It's a Christmas story. Yeah, it's a Christmas story. I don't want to give it away.
We'll look out for it then. And when you do get that book out and it's ready to be published, we'll have you back on the show so you can share more
That
about.
sounds great. That could be part of my goal.
Yay!
Okay. Sounds wonderful.
BJ, go ahead, Helen.
Well, I was thinking about the goals. So going back to this last year, when you were, obviously the back pain, the back surgery recovery, besides the physical problems, what were some of the other issues you may have faced? And was there ever a time that you thought, I may not reach my goal?
Uh, no, I try not to let that in at all. I think first of all, I don't have a horse. So that was a big thing for me is I got to find somebody that will let me use their horse or ride their horse. And that was huge. You can't be in the Pony Express if you don't show up with a horse. So that was huge. And that was a worry and that was a concern. But that took care of itself from Wyoming Women's Network when I met Jackie. That just took care of itself. And then, well, I'll tell you this story. My saddle is a handmade saddle. It was my husband, that's my ex-husband, made the saddle, and it's fabulous. I could have sold it 100 times. It's one of the best saddles ever, ever, ever. It was in my garage since I moved into town and got rid of my horses. It's been in my garage for 7 years. I couldn't even look at it. That's how much I miss my horses. About a year and a half ago, one of my friends, I said, bring the saddle in. I brought it in, sit in my living room. And that was the inspiration. I got to ride that saddle again. And then it all came together with where am I going to ride? How am I going to ride? What am I going to do? Pony Express, duh. I mean, it all, and Jackie and my saddle and the horse. And this horse's name is Teddy. His name is Teddy Roosevelt. He's fabulous. And my saddle fit him and I fit him. And he and I bonded. I mean, it, the universe put the whole thing together. The universe put it together. And I don't know what part I play in that. I don't know. I think you're given choices, of course, but I guess I made all the right choices in this adventure. Hopefully, with my book, I'll make all the right choices. I have my friend Helen to help me, and I have a couple of other friends that are going to help me. And with all that, the universe is going to either put it together or not. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. I'll do something else. But for now, that will probably be my goal. And I'm not for sure 100%, but pretty close.
I think you hit it on the nail when you said, we're going to make all these choices, but I think at the end of, those choices, whatever will be, will be, and that is, you're destined to do that. And I think your part in the Pony Express is that this was something that was in your heart to do, and you were so passionate and connected with horses, and just the idea of proving to yourself that you could do it even after your back surgery. You're right. It was all orchestrated in such a way that it was meant to be. This was meant to be. So that's a huge accomplishment, BJ, to be able to do that at 80 years old. I want to ask you, what other things have you done, in your past that you are so proud of?
I rode a mule to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. That's pretty special. I did as I told you, the wagon train, the 2 wagon trains I were on were just phenomenal, phenomenal. And I think a lot of my teaching horseback riding to children, I have to take credit for that. As a matter of fact, now I'm teaching Jackie, the gal whose horse I ride, I'm teaching her 2 daughters lessons. And I haven't taught for years. But there's something about watching a little girl or a little boy, most of them are little girls, get on that horse and have an adventure and learn things. And they learn so much about themselves and about life and about the horse and about giving and about caring and sharing and all that wonderful stuff. And I have taught thousands of people to ride a horse in this academy where I worked, thousands. And I'm really proud of that. They still have, this is 50 years ago, 60 years ago, they still have a Facebook page, the people that were there that took lessons. And they, on the Facebook page, they talk about, do you remember the summer of so-and-so and this horse and that horse? And I'm going, yeah. I mean, it's amazing so hopefully I gave them a little something to help their life be better. There's no better way. If you want to make a horse person mad, tell them, it's just a horse, right? No, it's so much more than just a horse. So if I gave somebody that knowledge or that without a horse, maybe it's a dog or a cat or a person or a tractor or who knows what, the ability to love and to want it and the passion, if I have given that to somebody, my job's done. I'm done, right? That's what I've accomplished, I think.
It's so beautiful. And yes, you've impacted all of these students, young, and even I'm sure you have adults, maybe you taught an adult as well. And there's something really special about horses. And so fun fact about me is that I took equestrian training in high school, and I love horses, absolutely love horses. So I have a bite right here. And the reason why I have like a bite mark is because I forgot to touch the horse's, backside to let him know that I'm coming. And I put the bridle on without letting him know, and he bit me, but I can tell that he didn't mean to. He looked like he was really sorry. Like, oh, he looked like he felt bad about biting me. So I think horses are wonderful. I think riding a mule down the Grand Canyon is fantastic because that thing is scary because you're going down the hill and the mule like eats whatever is on the path, and that could be at the very edge of the path, and you're like, woo, you can see, the cliff. You're right at the cliff. So
Well,
excellent.
and another thing, January, about riding the mule, you can't tell the mule to go left, right, or back. You don't do anything. The reins are in a knot and you just sit there. Well, that's not the way I ride a horse. I sit there and the horse goes here, goes there, goes there. I had to learn patience. I had to learn letting go. I couldn't manage this mule. He knows what he's doing. He's going to get me down the mountain safely. I learned patience. I learned tolerance. I learned just be quiet and sit there. I'm not a quiet person. I mean, there were so many lessons, and the fear of a 2,000 straight down cliff. I mean, the fear was huge. And I rode down and I was scared the whole time. I was. That night we stayed at Phantom Ranch at the bottom of the canyon. And I talked to that guy up there. I call him Gus with a small G. I don't call him God. I call him Gus. And he likes it. Talked to Gus and I said, I wanted to do this for so long. Why am I so afraid? I thought, well, I can either enjoy the trip out or I can be afraid. And I'd made up my mind I was going to enjoy it. It was the best ride ever. And we were on cliffs. I mean, it's scary, but I decided I was going to enjoy it. I had the best time. And it was really powerful because I learned a bunch of lessons on that trip. A lot of lessons.
Thank you for sharing the lessons because I also wrote the mule down, but I was a child. So as a child riding the mule, I was still afraid. But I think as a child you still feel a little bit more fearless and a little bit more like, but I see what you're saying because you do have to surrender and allow the mule to just take you. But I do remember when the mule was eating from the cliff. That was probably the most scariest because it's a huge drop. But you just
Yeah.
had, you're right, you just had to trust the mule to just take you, down. So I feel horses are, they're like dolphins. Dolphins and horses are probably my favorite. And horses are just very attuned to our feelings, and it's as if they can. It's an energy, And Helen and I talk about that all the time. It's an energy. Would you agree?
Yes. When you walk up to a horse, if you do it properly, put your hand out for them to smell your hand. Once you're within 4 feet of that horse, your heartbeat and his heartbeat are in unison. The horse gets your energy and your heartbeat. So if you're afraid, he knows it. If you're confident, he knows it. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting is to listen to your story and then also yours, January, about horses, because I'm not a I'm not an animal person. And even though my mom had horses and I've done horseback riding twice in my life, I am somebody who has I would say probably fear of animals more than love, and it stems from being at a young age and being attacked by a dog, and that just even a dog just carried on to all animals, anything bigger than a dog, anything bigger than a chihuahua. And I remember being, because I came out to support you at the Pony Express, me, Cindy, and Marilee, and I saw you just walk up to the horse and love on the horse. And I captured video and photos of it. And when you said, I don't know what my part is in this, I mean, just me being there and observing your whole experience, it really choked me up because I was so inspired. I'm already inspired and I'm already in admiration of who you are. And you're one of my dearest friends. But that moment really gave me some, it was like you were a bridge between me and this animal. And as if the animal was speaking through your energy and your love for this animal, and saying, it's okay. I'm friendly. I'm lovable. I won't hurt you. It was really profound for me.
Thank you, Helen. That means a lot to me. It means a lot. So again, that goes back to if you can touch one life. If everybody had that, I want to make one person, I want to touch one life and make it a better place. Wouldn't it be a great world?
We need more BJ lessons and BJ isms. Just list them all. It's gonna be like BJ's 10 Commandments.
I'll work on that, January, and as soon as I get it, I'll put it on Facebook.
Yes, please. So then I can share it because I think it's amazing. Everything that you have shared with us so far. You're just this pure light. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's pure light, just authentic. And Helen is so wonderful at that. She's wonderful at attracting those who are just as transparent and authentic as her. And so it's no wonder why you two are very close, because it's, very similar. And I told Helen the other day, I said, Helen, because she was telling me about you, I'm like, she's hashtag goals. Like, I want to be BJ when I grow up. And I know I've said this before, but it's, yeah, I mean, everything that you have said so far, it's kind of, when I think about it, it's like planting a tree, right? And Helen, we've talked about planting a tree before. When was the best time to plant a tree? Well, it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, then you'll have this big, luscious tree. And when's the second best time? It's now. And so if you don't have the BJ wisdom that that BJ has right now, she's sharing with us, now is the time. Now is the time to learn and to embrace and absorb all of what BJ has been sharing with us, because she's right. It's gratitude, it's the mindset, manifesting, it's positive thinking, it's all of these amazing things. And it's an energy. Once you have all of these things inside of you, our bodies can't hold that inside. So it just bursts right out. And what BJ said about impacting somebody, it's your energy, BJ. Like, you just can't help it. Like, you're just going to impact all these people based on just who you are, who your soul is. And anyway, I'm just so thankful. So thank you, BJ. You're amazing.
Thank you, January. I'm getting a big head, you guys. I won't be able to get through my door. You're so kind. You're both so kind. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, BJ, it has been a pleasure having you on. And before we wrap this up, I would love to hear, you say something directly to the Wyoming Women's Network, because I know a lot of our friends listen from there. If you have any words for them, and then also for your dear special friend, Buzz, and anybody else you'd like to just leave a beautiful message for here.
Well, I'm going to steal something from my dear friend, Jordan Adler, who is in Send Out Cards. This is a good one. Never quit on a bad day. Never quit on a bad day. So if you don't, and you quit on a good day, it's not going to happen, because you're not going to quit. You just have to, put your feet on the floor in the morning and thank God every day. And I do in the shower. Gus understands. Every morning in my shower, I thank God, thank Gus for being alive for one more day. It's I've lost a lot of my friends, most of my family's gone. Everybody's, they're up there having a ball up there. I don't want to go there yet. I'm not ready. And so being grateful for every single day that you're alive is important. And doing the little things, hold the door for that lady, put your shopping cart back. What does it take? 20 steps, put the dang shopping cart back. If everybody started there, it would be a better world, especially for the employees at Walmart, right? I mean, there are so many little things you can do that make your life better and happy and good. And that's what we want in this earth. Anyway, I could go on all. I'm going to quit.
We got to put it on a Facebook post so that we could share that. BJ, so what is next? I know you said you're going to do your goal, you're going to have another goal, but as far as your the next month, the next 30 days or next 90 days, do you have any plans of like traveling? Do you have any plans of, what are your plans for the next 90 days?
Well, Buzz and I are going to take a couple trips. He's taking me to a couple Rockies ball games. He has fabulous seats right behind the catcher. So I'll be traveling to there to do that. Other than that, I'm going to give writing lessons to Jackie's little girls and hopefully keep writing Teddy. And other than that, I'm kind of coming down from the ride. Does that make sense? I kind of have to level out a little bit and take a breath and look at where my path is. I don't know for sure, but I want to give my lessons and I want to spend time with Buzz. Other than that, ride a horse. That's about it.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, thank you again, BJ, for coming on. And before we wrap it up completely, let us know, or let our audience know, where they can find you if they want to learn more about BJ and they just don't have enough.
um, I'm on Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook. Friend me on Facebook, I guess. BJ Largent. I don't think there's anyone else, another BJ Largent on there. I haven't seen any. So, yeah, go there or call Helen and she'll give you my phone number. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun, and you guys are doing such a wonderful job. I love your podcast, and you're helping to change the world and make it a better place, and that's huge. I can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you. Thank you, BJ. This has been an amazing time with you. I love learning all your wisdom. So thank you. Helen, where can we find you?
All right. You can find me, Helen Edwards. If you just Google me, I'll come right up. You can also check out our sister show, Your Morning Sauce, where every episode is under 6 or 5 minutes. I got 2 that are 6 now, 6 minutes. And it's just your morning snack bite of inspiration or empowerment to get you throughout your day. And you can go get my book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, on Amazon or Audible. And I'm a financial strategist, so you can also click on my link if you'd like to know more about my services. January, what about you?
Well, just like yourself, I'm a financial strategist, and we help with retirement planning, debt elimination, and estate planning. So if you need me, please look up Facebook. It's Anchored Financial LLC, along with Instagram, same one, Anchored Financial LLC. And next week, my book will be launching. It should be on Amazon. Eventually, it'll be on Ingram's Spark, no S at the end. And my goal for that is to bring the book. It's called Alina, the Super Saver. And Alina, the Super Saver, talks about how she plans her way into getting what she wants. So it's about financial literacy. I really hope that every child will read it. I have a goal of 1 million children that I'd like to impact. So please look for that book. It's also on Instagram. Alina the Honeymaker is what it is on Instagram. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this show. BJ, you're amazing. More to come for next 90 days with you.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. I hear it.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at sexyfreedommedia.com.